If you're in your 50s or 60s and you're wondering, can I actually retire? Then this video is going to be for you. Hey everyone, I'm Daniel Ronberg, and I'm committed to helping people enter retirement with an abundance mindset. You're probably starting to ask yourself, can I even retire? And if I can, how much can I spend every year? That's exactly the situation that today's couple found themselves in. Bob and Sue have been so focused on working, saving, investing, preparing for retirement that they never stop to think about when they can actually retire. Or once they do retire, how much they can actually spend. In today's case study, we're gonna walk through their actual financial situation and explore the actual techniques that they need to reach their retirement goals. And we're gonna show you what's needed to take them from where they are to where they wanna be, while also highlighting the different possibilities along the way. It doesn't really matter if your portfolio is $2 million or something entirely different. The steps that we'll cover today will be the same to determine if you can retire, when you can retire, and how much you can comfortably spend. So let's dive into Bob and Sue's financial snapshot. Bob and Sue are both 60 years old. Now Bob has 2 retirement savings accounts. He has a 401k with $920,000 in it and a Roth IRA with $35,000. Sue has an IRA with $610,000 and a Roth IRA with approximately $20,000. Now they also have some joint assets. They keep about $50,000 in the bank. They have $450,000 in a joint brokerage account, and their home value, which is completely free and clear, is right at about $700,000. Their total net worth is $2.7 million with a liquid net worth of $2 million. Now here's the key questions we're gonna break down. When can we retire? How can we make sure that we never run out of money and never have to go back to work? When we start with a new client, the very first thing we begin with is what they want their retirement to look like. And the way we optimize savings, taxes, and insurance depends on our personal goals. When we asked Bob and Sue when they'd like to retire, they both said at age 65. They just kind of thought that was the normal retirement age, and they really didn't know how they would handle medical expenses before then. So we decided to start there, but also to explore if they could retire a little earlier. Next, we asked how much did they want to spend in retirement? This is a simple but pretty difficult question for many. Bob and Sue were very detail oriented, and we went through their expenses line by line. We covered everything from utilities, property taxes, food, insurance. Every single item was detailed out on a list. So taking into account entertainment and travel, their projected average monthly spending was $5,500 a month throughout retirement. Now, healthcare is a major expense in retirement. For those retiring after age 65, Medicare is going to cover a lot of that cost. But for Bob and Sue, we're going to estimate about $4,000 of annual out-of-pocket costs for care. Now, to figure out what their health insurance costs are going to be, we would use the figure of about $1,000 a month for health insurance premium. Or in other words, for both of them, that'd be a total of $2,000 a month before Medicare begins. Now, Bob and Sue wanted to make sure that every 5 years, they could handle a $30,000 to $35,000 expense. And this would cover everything from a new car to a kitchen remodel to an emergency like a new roof or air conditioning units. And for this example, we're gonna just assume that they could sell their old car for between $5,000 and $10,000 if they trade up. They also wanted to budget for travel. They normally love to take about 3 trips a year, which totals approximately $18,000 annually. We built this in for the whole first decade of their retirement, recognizing that travel typically slows down as we age. Now, family is also a big priority to them. They want to fund their grandkids' education with some well-funded whole life insurance policies. And they want to do this without jeopardizing their own retirement income. Now, we started with 0, but we basically budgeted for them contributing approximately $10,000 to the premium of these policies on an annual basis. Now, currently, before retirement, Bob earns about $135,000 a year, and Sue earns about $90,000 a year. Now, at full retirement age, which is 67 for them, Bob's monthly Social Security benefit is going to be $3,200 a month, while Sue's is going to be $2,300 a month. Bob is currently maxing out his 401k savings plan, and the employer is contributing a 3% match. Sue's employer doesn't currently offer a 401k, so she's just maxing out an IRA contribution every year. And based on the statement, she's making about 6.5% annually. Now that we know their current assets, goals, income, and savings habits, we can now test the framework. Is it really realistic for this couple to retire early? What if returns are higher or lower, or they save a little more or a little less? This is when we start to look at what their cash flow is going to look like. We're going to look at their income, which is currently salary and then Social Security. We're going to look at their expenses, which covers everything from core living expenses to healthcare costs, their goals, and taxes. And we're going to look at savings withdrawals to fill the gap. For the first 2 years of their retirement at age 65, they'll have 2 years of no income from Social Security or their previous wages. That means their retirement savings needs to generate $128,000 per year. But once Social Security kicks in at age 67, that number drops significantly. Now remember, they have about $2 million of their liquid net worth. And if we just stay on the same track that we're on with their contributions and what they've been getting for their average returns, Bob and Sue are projected to have a little over $3.2 million by the time they reach age 65. Now their first year withdrawal rate is about 3.9%. The next year it drops to about 3.8%. And then eventually, once their Social Security starts, goes all the way down to only 2.5%. This is where we can roll a portion of that 401k into an IRA and set up a simple joint lifetime income annuity to cover that 2.5% for life. This will ensure that they'll never run out of money, even if one spouse passes away, for as long as they live. So it makes the economy, the interest rates, and all those scary things much less significant and takes the worry out of their retirement. Now at age 75, their required minimum distribution, or RMD, will force them to actually take out more money than they need. This will increase taxes, but again, give them a lot of comfort and peace of mind as they're now starting to save money in retirement. Now, let's take this same scenario and see if they can actually retire early. If they use this same model but retire at age 62 instead, they arrive to age 90 with about $2.5 million less, but are still extremely financially secure. Now, if they retire immediately, they'd actually end up with $4 million less, but could still comfortably pull this off. And just knowing that they could retire early gave them peace of mind and eased anxiety about working and saving for retirement. Now, they ultimately decided to keep working till age 65 because they did enjoy their jobs. And at this point, just assuming everything stayed the same, their portfolio would be about $9 million by the time they reached age 90. Now, just because this was set in stone for them to retire at age 65, doesn't mean we can't have the ability to make adjustments along the way. If they wanted to spend more, going from $5,500 a month to $7,500 a month, that would increase their annual expenditures. They'd now be spending more than $24,000 a year, but that still left them in a very comfortable and healthy situation. Now, when it comes to helping the grandchildren, if they wanted to contribute to all 4 of their whole life policies at about $5,000 a year, that would be an additional $20,000 of annual expenditures to them, which again, they could handle with ease, even if they retired early. Now, their goal is not to die with $9 million in their savings. Their goal is to get as much life out of their money as they possibly can, so they can live with purpose, generosity, and freedom. This process helps couples just like Bob and Sue to see what's really possible for their situation. They can retire early if they want, they can be generous and contribute to family or their church, and most of all, they can spend comfortably without any fear of running out of money. Once we begin with that clarity, we can fine-tune all the other details from taxes to insurance to their estate and even their annual withdrawals to align their financial life with what really matters most. So whether you have $2 million or a totally different amount, this framework applies to you. It helps you to see when you can retire, how much you can spend, and how to design the ideal future with intention. If you'd like to go a little deeper, check out our next video, 5 Reasons to Retire as Soon as You can. I'm Daniel Ronberg, and to see how we help our clients live their best life with confidence in retirement, visit nationsfirstfin.com. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video and you want more information about retirement, be sure to check out my new book, Buy Back Your Life, How to Stop Worrying About Money and Start Living in Retirement. If you want a copy of this book absolutely for free, call my office with this phone number below. Talk to the girls at the front desk. You don't have to provide any information. We just need your name and address, and they'll mail you out your copy today.